Hello, everyone. This is Andres Restart. I am joined by my good friend Brandon, and we're going to be talking about Nintendo tonight. I realize it's been a while since we've done a live stream. I
Mm.
was doing preparations on my channel so things could still come out and be ready while I went on vacation. So
Right.
that happened. Live streams have taken a break, but we're now back, going back to a somewhat normal schedule, and maybe even a little bit more than usual. So
Ooh,
stay
nice.
tuned. But yeah, we got stuff to talk about. Brandon and I are here. We're excited, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty
Talk of a
well.
storm, by the way. I want to chug this protein. I just got back from the gym.
Nice, nice. Yes, the gym. Trying to save up to get back into the gym. They such fees. They're like, oh, it's only 25 a month, but then you need to pay like 125 just for the first month because all the fees. It's ridiculous. You just got back from a very nice, seems pretty tropical area.
I was in. There's still
Oof.
powder.
Yes.
I was in Punta Cana, which is in Dominican Republic. It's the
Nice.
coast. Very touristy. So my brother got married. They had a destination wedding, so we all stayed at this all-inclusive resort where you can eat and drink and party and swim
Hell
and
yeah.
the entire time. And there's other little events
Hell
tied
yeah.
in, like concerts and dance parties and shows and banana boats and other
Banana
things.
boat. Interesting.
I did an escape room while I was there. That costed extra.
Oh,
but I
wow.
did an escape room. I went on an ATV excursion. That was part of my bachelor party plan for my brother. So I took him out ATV riding. We explored a water
Nice,
cave and
Ooh,
stuff
sounds
like that.
fun.
So it was cool. And then I kidnapped him when all the families were there at the evening for like a after the rehearsal, which I was late to, because one thing led to another. We were in the pool. There were drinks. There were people we were talking to, and before I knew it, me and my bros, the groomsmen, were running down the beach, tripping and falling. Got there 10 minutes late, but it was all good. But yeah, we kidnapped him at night and had more
Nice.
fun things to do. So it was a good time. Yeah. We had a good time. I really killed my speech. I didn't know I was supposed to give a speech as best man, so I winged it. But I spoke
Oh
from the
yeah,
heart.
best man always gives a speech.
Yeah. But I spoke from the heart.
Tradition.
Apparently, everyone really enjoyed my speech. So,
Hell yeah. I mean, those are the best
yeah.
speeches.
That's what I do on the channel. Jump live, talk for an hour or two. It's what we do.
Exactly. It's what
Yeah.
we do around here.
So, yeah, but we try to be real, right? So, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
got to hang out with a lot of family, some friends.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I got inspired by your little vacation. I was like, I gotta go to the beach.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm going to the beach. Gonna drive up early in the
Nice.
morning with my friend.
Nice. Beach is always a good time.
Given that the weather is good, I gotta check to see because it's raining today, so hopefully it's not. But I don't know what the weather is like down there because it's like an hour or two out.
Yeah. Everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I do not expect today to be a big live stream. I feel like after not live streaming for weeks, like I'm just, people are just forget that we live stream now, right? But for you being here, thank you. We're still talking Nintendo. If you could like the stream, that'd be super helpful. And we're gonna keep it up, so it's all good. I guess for the order of business, we're gonna be talking about Nintendo Switch 2. I put out a video today. Certainly, a lot of people disagree, but I think there are subtle signs. I do think we see Nintendo prepping. Now, how you choose to interpret it and make of that information, we'll dissect and talk about that tonight. But we're also going to be getting into the Emio announcement / confirmation of what the project actually is. It was teased before I left. The actual reveal happened while I was on vacation, so I'll be talking about my thoughts on it tonight. And also, since we haven't done it live, we'll be also going into this confirmation seemingly of Link being playable in Echoes of Wisdom. I should probably edit the title, Link playable, in it, because obviously he's in Echoes of Wisdom. Link playable in Echoes of Wisdom. There we go. That's apparently a thing. So there we go. Got a lot to get into here, but Brandon, is there something you'd like to? Well, I guess we should probably check in with the chat.
Yeah,
I'm out of shape here. I'm forgetting about the chat. How could I? How
you do this?
I don't know, man. I need to go on another vacation. Hello there, Anthony Smith. Hello there, JRL Toki. How are you guys? JRL Toki asks me and says, how dare you take a vacation without asking permission first? Offense taking, cancel, Andres. Oh, darn it. I knew this day would come. At some point or another, I would get canceled. I didn't think it'd be. I didn't think it'd be by taking a break, but I'm sorry.
YouTubers aren't allowed to take breaks.
No,
it's the rules.
I mean, I took a break from live streaming, and this is probably going to be the worst viewed live stream in a year. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But
YouTube,
you know,
algorithm overlords.
I obviously care about performance because I want this to be my career, right? And I've been focusing on building this to be my career, right? So if numbers are down, it's upsetting. But I've also learned that as a content creator, there are ups and downs. There always will be ups and downs. And so like when times are bad, I'm like, all right, this may suck. The next few days may suck, but there's going to be an upswing, right? So, you know, I'm not actually upset about it. We're good.
The YouTube life is kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. It's
That's
like a little
if you're
dance.
Consistent. If you're not consistent, it's 3 steps.
You might be
back,
taking a little more steps back than
5
forward.
steps back, 1 step forward. Yeah, it's grueling, but you know, you do it because you love it. Connor asks me, hi Andres, I wonder what Hal is working on for a next big Kirby game for Switch 2. If it's a prequel, or I'm sorry, a sequel to Forgotten Land, open sandbox, 2D game, Kirby RPG, Kirby Party, or something else. Well, listen, I'm gonna stick to my guns, right?
Yeah.
I was always dubious. I know it like logically it made sense to like predict Kirby in the most recent direct because we see Kirby every year, but I was always kind of dubious of it. And I feel like I kind of relayed that to you guys. Like I'm not sure. I kind of feel like they're just focusing on a Forgotten Land sequel. And given that my doubt kind of proved to be true, right? I should just stick with what I've been thinking. I may not be right, but I think the reason we haven't seen anything Kirby is because they're focusing on Forgotten Land 2. Well, it's probably not going to be named that. It may not even be a story sequel, but a 3D Kirby game. That's gameplay style. I think they're building on that. I think that's what's next. Maybe, of course, they could fit in another spinoff if they really wanted to, but I think they're really trying to make sure that they have this 3D Kirby, maybe even ready for the first year Switch 2 next year. So that's what I think is next.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Forgotten Land is their best-selling game, right? So I don't see why they wouldn't just continue.
Best-selling Kirby game ever.
Formula. Yeah, just continue with the winning formula. And it's not even like they've... I mean, it's the first time they've done it, so clearly they haven't tapped out that formula even close. They can definitely evolve on that and keep that going for the new direction for the series for a while. Until they want to change it up again.
Man, this is my favorite Kirby game. I'm hoping we see another one. I mean, bro,
I don't see a Star Allies 2 situation where they're just like, oh, here's a 2D Kirby, real basic, but it's pretty though.
Maybe there's a video to be made there. Like, I don't think I've made a video talking about like, hey, there's gonna be a Forgotten Land sequel. You know, we've kind of talked about it on live stream
on the podcast, but that's about it.
I haven't made like an actual video on it, so I don't know. I might do some digging, see if there's anything else I can kind of say that's new. My brain's kind of it's thinking. Anyway, let's see here. Chrono Rig, been a member for 21 straight months. Glad to have you, buddy. Thank you for being here.
A lot of months.
Having Hope, I believe. I think you mentioned that you got married as well. So congratulations.
Nice, congrats
on your marriage. And Having Hope here does say hi, Andres. Hi, hello everyone. Hello. Having Hope. Hope you're having a good time. Boo Many. Been a member for a month. Only 1 month. What's wrong with me? Hey, you're here now.
1 month's more than 0 months.
Hey, we all can have our path to redemption. So
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So glad to have you, Boo. Thank you. And Boo also gives a membership. Who was awarded this membership? Who's the winner of this membership?
Who's the lucky winner?
Joycey J has won
the
membership. Congratulations, Joycey. How are you? Very cool. All right, let's continue with the chat. So, looking through here, Arnold Latzy, hi Andrew. Since Mario Movie 2 is coming in 2026, will this 3D Mario game have any connection with the movie, or will it be on its own kind of thing? So in general,
Ah,
in general, um, like across the board for any Nintendo movie, I think we should operate under the assumption that the movie will not have any direct, obvious, like story connection to a
right.
game movie. Like the movies are going to be their own thing.
Yeah,
Now the Mario movie was probably going to be connected story wise to the first Mario movie, right? I
probably.
think that
Yeah,
that's probably a reasonable expectation.
build
Um,
off that universe.
yeah, but not connected to the games in a direct way. Like, will there be references and cameos, things of that nature?
Oh yeah, I'm
Sure,
sure.
but
There'll probably
I
be a reference to the game in some well, not significant, but some fashion.
yeah. And maybe there's even like I'll even go as far as saying it's possible that there could like the most I could expect in this direction would be like maybe somehow put something in the movie that teases a future game in a very subtle way. Like that's I don't
Mm,
think that's totally out of the question, but but even then I feel like we're already kind of we're straying away from what we should be straying from, right? Like I
yeah.
don't think we should think that, but on the at the same time, you know, if you look at the first Mario movie and you see all of this prevalence of these different characters like Toad and Peach, right? And then you look at the next major Mario game, you can play as Peach, you can play as Toad. Like, you know, that if you want to consider that a hint, sure, right? But
Mm,
also there wasn't any like real story relation to those games. That just
no, no.
the Mario universe under slightly different circumstances. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't expect anything beyond that. But you know, I still think the Mario movie is gonna be cool. Like I am
Oh yeah.
anticipating that Yoshi's going to play a vital role. And you know,
Mm,
this is what I will say. I think Yoshi's gonna be popularized, and I do think that Yoshi's gonna play a vital role in the next video game, the next like 3D
okay.
Mario, right? So I think there's
Very
that,
possible.
right? It's not so much in the sense that like, hey, there's gonna be this Yoshi storyline, it's gonna be the same storyline in the game. No, but do I think that Yoshi's is gonna be kind of made more more of a prevalent, popular character with the movie? Yes. And do I think there's a really good chance the next 3D Mario game is going to bring back Yoshi? Maybe because this Mario game is going to be more of an open style, a grander style, and introducing a mount. Yoshi being the
Ah,
original mount
yes.
for Mario, making a lot of sense for traversal. Like I think that makes a lot of sense, and they can kind of boost each other in terms of the popularity. That I think
Right.
there can be some sort of connection in that way, but not like story connection. Just
Yeah.
hey, popular character, popular game. There you go. That's kind of how I think it would be.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't. I don't disagree at all.
I'm glad you don't disagree, but if you did, it would be interesting. Um,
It would, but there's no real reason for me to disagree. It
I
just
mean, do
seems
you? I
very,
mean, well, let me ask you a
exactly what
question.
I think.
What do you? Actually, you know what? Not only will I ask you the question, I'm going to ask everyone the question.
Okay.
Like, do you think Yoshi's going to have a significant role in the next Mario game, the next 3D Mario game?
Ah, I mean,
Will
I didn't
Yoshi
think about it before.
be a significant character in the next 3D Mario game?
I do like your theory that since the game may be bigger, it may need a mount. I do like that. I don't think Yoshi would be the only mount if that was the case, but the starting
I
one or
mean,
the
maybe
main one is
like
definitely
Epona. Let's
possible.
say like Epona or something. Let's put her something. And apparently, I don't know how to spell significant. Oh, I forgot to put the F. That that makes sense.
I mean, Yoshi is in Mario Odyssey for one kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, you can see him a little bit, but
You can ride him.
you can possess him.
Yeah, it's
It
true.
ain't the
Yeah, you don't
same.
ride him. You
It ain't
possess
the
him.
same.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had him a little more, a little more of a focus. I don't think he's gonna be like the partner character necessarily. But as a mount or more usable in the game, just having more use, I think makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Guys, if you could like the stream, be super helpful. I see we're hovering the 50s range. If we could hit 100 people tonight, that would be a
Ooh,
massive
yeah.
W. Because I just don't see that happening. But if it does, that would be because you guys are liking and commenting in the stream.
Share it on the social medias,
Yeah.
Discord, Twitter,
Yeah.
other places.
Joycey, you're going to Disneyland?
Oh,
Congratulations.
nice.
Sounds fun.
My stepsister, my brother, and my nephews are going to Disneyland next month for my nephew's 3rd birthday, 4th birthday.
Which you said Disneyland?
Disney, the one in Florida, Disney World.
Disney World. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I haven't been in a few years. Actually,
I've never been.
I went recently 2 years ago, but I've
never been to a theme park. I've been to Six Flags. That's about it.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to explore there. Anyway,
Six
getting
Flags
through
over Dallas specifically.
Nice. I actually haven't been to Six Flags. So
It's pretty cool.
yeah, I'd like to go. Going back to the chat here, Nintendo and Sonic Gamer Girl, hello to you. Hello there, Super Chris. Hello there, Chris Lanzer. Yvonne. Disinferno says Emio will be Black Horse of 2024. That's an interesting thing to say.
I'm not
I
sure
got
what
some
they
thoughts
mean by
on it.
that.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Rico Lee asked me, "Hey man, hope your vacation went well. Excited to be here and chat with you guys. Welcome back." Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be back. Man, that's a cool thing. Like, I enjoy what I do. I'm excited to get back into it. Like, I'm not like, oh man, I can't. I'm so sad I have to make videos about video games. Such a shame. This is what I've tried to work for many years. So
right.
Sam talks to Matt's me. How was the ocean in the Dominican Republic if you went in? I went in it and it was fantastic. Water is clear. It wasn't like perfect. Where we were wasn't like perfectly clear, but it was still pretty good. Interestingly enough, I was in the beach more at night when I wasn't supposed to than during the day.
How does it compare to like say Destin in Florida? That's probably the nicest beach I've ever been to.
I think it. I don't think I've been. I would say you said Destin. I haven't been there.
Very popular beach on the Florida Panhandle.
It's probably is it like crystal clear?
It's pretty damn clear, and it's like snow white beaches.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. They weren't that nice in terms of like clarity. There was seaweed to like kind of wiggle through. It was a little opaque, but it was better than the typical beach. Right?
I'm sure it's still far, far better than any beach that I'm going to be going to.
No, when I jumped in, the first thing I was like, oh, the sand is nice and smooth and soft, right? Like it felt comfortable to be in. Great temperature. They were good. They were good. They weren't like, oh my god, there's like because there are beaches where you can just see it's just crystal clear, right? It wasn't that, but they were still pretty good. They were nice. Yeah, and there were also pools like all over the place too, which were fun. Yeah, I do enjoy swimming. Whenever I go to a beach, I'm like, oh, there's a buoy, time to swim to it. That's been a recent trend of mine. I've obtained more courage in my older years.
I've never gone out in the ocean far enough to have to swim. Not on purpose. There was one time where I got pulled out.
So I still have a fear, right? Like when I swim to the buoy, like there's always like that. Oh, what if there's like something? What if there's like something in the water? Which is why I usually do it with somebody else. Like, if I do it with my brother, though, it's like, oh, damn, I can't let him be in front of me. I should definitely be the one taking most of the risk. So I make sure to be in front of him. But it's still kind of like having someone with me does kind of give me the confidence to kind of race to the buoy. I'm not scared of things. I mean, I am definitely scared of things in the water. But what terrifies me more is just deep water in general. I'm just like, it's too. Yeah, I don't like that's the thing about going to the buoy. You can't stand where the buoy's at.
Yeah.
I
don't mind swimming in a pool because it's like, I could just go to the edge if I want to. But the idea of swimming in the ocean where it's like I have to swim back to where I can stand or I'm going to die is just terrifying to me.
Yeah, there is certainly a confidence that you have to build up. I would say the greatest risk you have is being stung by a jellyfish. And I think that depends on the beach. Like I've seen jellyfish in Miami,
Mm.
One time I was at the
Sometimes
beach
there's
with my
jellyfish
brother,
all
and
in
there was
Galveston.
a jellyfish that was like this big that almost like
Mm.
my brother walked straight into. And we saw it like right
Yeah.
before, but yeah.
Some of my family members have
Um,
been stung by jellyfish, but I don't think I've ever actually gotten
and
stung.
they're not, well, at least the ones in Miami, they're not lethal. They're gonna hurt.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how it
yeah,
is in Galveston. But sometimes it's like there's just so many jellyfish. It's like no way you can go in the water. It's just all
yeah.
jellyfish.
I've never been stung by a jellyfish that I
Yeah, I don't think
think
so.
of.
My brothers have,
Like,
but not me.
if I have, it's been like nothing. I don't know. But sometimes, I'll go to the beach. I might have like a
Yeah, they're
little
pretty bad.
agitation from something, right? Because there are things there. But for the most part, whenever I go to the beach, it's usually better for me because like the salt water is actually good to help you with healing and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know that.
yeah. Like if you have little wounds, it helps it.
I imagine that's not so true in the water in Galveston. I'm not going to Galveston. Galveston is the main beach that's near
Mm.
me. It's gross. Everything from the Mississippi River like floods. All the trash and the junk and the mud just floods in there. So the water is like green and just murky.
Sounds
It's
fun.
not nice. It's not
Great.
nice.
Yeah, maybe it's a soup. Green
Good
tea
soup. Good soup.
Yeah. I see Adam Rohn here. Been a member for 15 months. Glad to have you, buddy.
Nice.
Yo. I do enjoy the yo-yos, but hello to you as well. Yeah. Continue with the chat here. Link exists. Actually, isn't Yoshi too sentient to be a mount? That's an interesting question.
I mean, he's a mount in a lot of the games, though. So,
well, like,
that's
that's
just kind of like.
I mean, yeah, like Yoshi,
the 2D games, he's just kind of like an item / mount.
His original game, he's Mario's mount in Super Mario World, right? Yoshi's a mount in Super Mario Sunshine. Yoshi's a mount in Mario Galaxy 2. Yoshi is only possessed in Odyssey. I don't know if I agree with that because, like, for example, like, like the Sphinxes, the little lions that you can run on in Mario Odyssey. You can talk to them, like you ask them a question, or like permission to ride them. They talk, right? Yoshi doesn't have dialogue, so if the Sphinxes are sentient and you can ride them or the little lion dog things, then Yoshi, who doesn't really have dialogue in the same way. Like I wouldn't say he's more or less sentient. I don't
There
think
are other
sentience is really a limiting
sentient
factor,
mounts
really.
in Nintendo games too. I mean, like in the Wind Waker, you ride a sentient boat across the seas.
That's true. You've talked to that boat. Yeah. And I wouldn't say like horses are not stupid creatures. Like horses are intelligent creatures, right? And Epona has some big moments in Ocarina of Time. I actually think that something that maybe is a bit lacking is a Zelda game where Epona has more of a character role, if that makes any sense. Like it in Breath of the Wild, it's like you just get any horse you want. That was cool, but I actually would think it'd be neat if there was a mount that had more of a role with the story. And actually, remember that
Twilight Princess is probably the closest thing where Epona had like a more major role. It was mostly
I mean, there were some I mean, I don't know if it's any more major than Ocarina of Time. I don't know, because in Ocarina of Time there is a couple different like scenes that Epona had, right? There is obviously there's a whole quest, but first Epona in Ocarina of Time is actually totally optional. No,
there's a couple different
no.
Epona
I think you need him to
Twilight
get
Princess though.
You need him to get to the Spirit Temple, I think. I think you need him because the bridge is broken down. Otherwise, there's no way to get to that side. Although, technically, you can sequence break, right? And you can like glitch to the final boss. But assuming you're not doing some sort of crazy glitches, right? You need Epona to get to the end of the game.
Right.
And there are a few like cool moments, like when Epona does these big jumps like 2 or 3 times. And so that's like a little mini cutscene in Ocarina of Time. Twilight Princess, I guess, like there are some cool moments there. Like there's a moment where you are fighting the Bokoblin King dude, right,
Yeah.
on his pig thing, and you kind of charge each other on the bridge. And then of course there's the beginning of the game where opponent is hurt, right? And like
Yeah.
I don't know,
You
maybe
like have to
opponent
go
is
find her. She
but maybe
runs
opponent
off.
has yeah. I guess opponent does have a little bit more of a role.
And
I'll
then there's
concede
the
that.
cart
Yeah,
one where you have to use Epona to like cart the people
sure,
back to Kakariko
okay.
Village.
Yeah, I agree with you. Opponent has more of a role in Twilight Princess, but I think I'd want like they actually do take some time to speak towards opponent's relationship with Link in Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
So you're right. Twilight, I think they do a little bit. I want them to lean a little bit more in that direction for a
I
future game.
agree.
So I feel like in the second half, they kind of just forget about Epona. I would like there to be some cool moments there.
You do use Epona for the final boss as well. Because you have to
Yeah,
ride on her
yeah,
for the
yeah.
airship.
Opponent is that's a great point. Opponent is there. Um, but imagine like I imagine like there's a moment like where opponent gets hurt, right? And Link's like worried, and opponent's like, "Nah, I got this." You know what I mean? Like just some
Yeah,
cool things like that. Not that we want to see a horse get hurt, right? So I don't know, but
right.
um, I guess when we talk about something like Yoshi though, which Yoshi is, Yoshi has more personality than Epona, right? Like Epona is just treated like a horse, and they don't really show
Yeah.
that much personality with it, which is kind of what I'm hoping they do in the future game, right? Um, Yoshi like does
I mean,
have
Epona's not a
personality.
character in Smash, so
Yeah, Yoshi is. Yoshi's a character in Mario Party, right? Yoshi's gonna be probably a significant character in the next movie. Yoshi has his own game, right?
Yep.
Like I think with Yoshi,
Epona
they
should get
could.
her own game.
Bro, that'd be cool. But Yoshi, like, I think there's a lot of potential there, as Mario's like 1B or something. I don't know if that's the right term, but as Mario's co-star, you
Hmm.
play as Mario, but maybe Yoshi, like, you do a lot with Yoshi. Like, Yoshi is a big deal and it's not just, oh, I'm just a stupid dinosaur you ride. Like, I think they could do more with
That's a
him.
spider.
What, there's a spider? What?
On my desk, there's a spider.
But it's not on
I
my
will leave
desk,
it alive.
so I don't care. Yeah,
Facts.
you're
I
good?
have arachnophobia, but I will leave it alive. I'm good. It's not that big. It's doing its own thing. It's staying away from me. If it
Okay.
starts coming near me, it might have to die, but yeah, I'm just chilling for now.
Okay. Rico Lee asks me, hey Andres, I have a theory. That's why we haven't seen Galaxy 2 yet. Because they want to bring it back when Yoshi's relevant again. We can even get a Mario World or Yoshi's Island remake for that. That's an interesting point, right? Like maybe Galaxy 2 will be like a Switch 1 game, like a very late life Switch 1 game, like year 9, year 10, like once like Switch 2 gets the new 3D Mario, right? But
Yeah.
and obviously Switch 2 owners can still play Galaxy 2, but it's something that's made available for Switch 1 owners. I could see something like that. A Yoshi's Island remake would also be very cool.
Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
if they do release Mario Galaxy 2 on its own, that they do a little more work to it. Because I think Mario Galaxy in the collection, it looked pretty good, but there were some textures that I thought looked pretty rough. And there was just, they could do a little bit more to make like the lighting look nice. So I would hope if they want to sell it on its own, that they would do a little bit more to up the presentation. Not that Mario Galaxy looked bad, but it could definitely look a lot better with some easy changes.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm not even expecting that. I'm just expecting it to be like an individual, like $20, $30 release. That's not all I'm expecting. That's all I think it needs. But if they do more, cool. Well, I'm not gonna complain. So, hello there, DE Fox. There we go. Mod rights have been enabled. RNL asks me if the next 3D Mario has Peach's castle, will it be like in 64 Odyssey to where you have to explore the castle to find clues or stars? It would be nice if the castle you could do more in it, but also like the castle's kind of like this constant thing, like, hey, look, here's the castle. Remember this? Like I don't know. Like you could explore it in Mario Odyssey a little bit already. I don't know if I need to. I personally, it could go either way. I don't know what they're gonna do with the castle.
Yeah.
it feels like we've seen it a lot, so I don't personally need it.
Yeah, I'm not really expecting it to play a huge role in the next game. I'm not even sure if it will appear. I mean,
Yeah.
they just barely had it in Odyssey. I don't think that they feel like. I don't think that they would feel like they need to do that again, unless they had a really good idea for it.
Yeah. Joy CG in the chat, your horse in Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom will fight back if attacked by a bokoblin.
It is true.
I don't remember that.
They will fight, yeah. They'll fight a little bit.
Do they? I just remember them like running away. Do they like kick them and then run
yeah,
away?
they can kick.
Okay. Yeah, I know they can hurt bokoblins. I didn't think of them as fighting. I just thought of them just like hey, back off. Let me leave.
Yeah, I don't know if they consistently attack them till they're dead or if they just kind of defend themselves.
Yeah.
But I know that they can attack.
Yeah. The real J Stone asks me, will the Ocarina of Time remake not gonna be part of the 2025 Switch 2 lineup? I personally don't think it will be.
Yeah, I mean we'll probably see it next year, but I don't think it will.
I'm not even sure about that because I feel like with a remake you could have a very short turnaround.
Potentially, but they may want to show it off just to have something like big, nice Zelda
Maybe.
to look forward to. They show Zelda stuff off pretty far ahead of time with
but
this would be a big deal remake. It wouldn't be like their remasters, right? And even like Skyward Sword HD was announced fairly far ahead of time.
Like if it's a March 2026 release, like maybe they want it to come in within the same fiscal year or something, then I could see something like that, right? Like maybe I think they could reveal it within 6 months, but I don't think they reveal.
I mean, they could show it off in September or something during a direct.
If it's coming out
at the end of the direct.
If it's coming out early, if it's coming out early 2026. If it's not,
but like they could tease in September no matter when it's coming out in 2026. They've teased games later into the year in September directs before.
Right. But my thinking is simply that a remake, remaster kind of thing won't have as big of a window. Like, tell me a game that was announced.
I mean, this would be the biggest remake effort that Nintendo's probably ever done. So I don't think that they would treat it the same. Especially if this is going to... I mean, it depends on what scale. If it's just a remaster, then yeah. But if it's a full remake, like near reimagining of the world and different things like that, it depends on how far they go.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think it's gonna have so much work done that it's essentially like a whole new Zelda game, because like the point would be to help stall things until the next Zelda, like a holdover, right? Like you would after a certain point we're talking about, okay, maybe we should bring in like the actual Zelda team, and I don't know if we're gonna go that far. Like, I think visually it could be rebuilt. I think there can be some new elements. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I personally think that in terms of just sticking to the question, like, I'm expecting 3D Mario. I'm expecting Mario Kart. I'm expecting some sort of Switch Sports follow-up or something to that effect. Metroid Prime 4 and Legend of Z already confirmed. Maybe we have another Kirby game. Maybe another something from Monolith Soft. Like, that's already a lot from Nintendo, So yeah. I think something's got to be spread out. And I believe there's a big Zelda, like Zelda came out in 1986, right? So 2026 would be the 40-year anniversary. Like, that would be like, that's an Ocarina of Time remake would be kind of like the perfect game for a 40-year anniversary,
That'd be nice.
So
not that they always stick their anniversaries, because
no, they don't.
Could they?
Yeah, I don't like putting too much stock
nice.
into it, but it's kind of like the timing would work out there is my main point. And I will also say, technically, the anniversary is in February, so if we're hoping for an early release, well, they could maybe I don't know if they probably wouldn't, right? Like, Skyward Sword celebrated the Zelda's 25th anniversary, and that came out in November, right? Even though Zelda's anniversary is in February, so yeah. But yeah, I don't.
That was back when like brand new big their big budget games like always came out in November back then, though. That was just when they released them.
But Brandon, I guess to kind of do our due diligence here, What's the longest gap between announcement and release? Have we seen a remaster remake?
I feel like how long was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition? 'Cause I
That's
feel
the
like
one
there's
that
a
I've been
pretty
thinking about.
decent gap.
Well, let's look up the trailer dates because I
And
know
that
there's
one wouldn't even be as much. That'd still be more of a remaster than
yeah, it's
than
it's an ambitious
remake.
remaster, right? Like it has new content, you know.
Right. But it's not
Um,
one I would be expecting from. Well, I guess I don't know. The new content kind of balances that out. But in terms of the visual changes, it's not what I would expect from this.
Near something. I mean, it's a pretty significant visual leap, but I agree it'll be more. Um,
Yeah, I
so
expect this to be all like completely new, like
right.
Thousand Year Door remake, where it's visually like everything is a new asset. Like I don't expect them to use
You wanna know
any
what blows my mind?
N64 or 3DS assets here.
You know what blows my mind? Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition announcement trailer doesn't even have a 700,000 views. Just has 667,000 views.
Shame.
So it released the announcement trailer was in the September 2019 direct, September 4th. It released, I want to say early. It was like a 6-month gap of time. Came out early 2020. When was the actual release date? I want to say
I
March,
think it was.
but I
Yeah,
don't think it
it
was
was like
March. I think
it's
it was
like
maybe. I think
March
it
to
was May.
June, somewhere in there.
I gotta double
May or
check.
April.
May 29th.
Okay.
May 29th. So it was a bigger than a 6-month
Pretty
gap,
decent
right?
gap.
It's an 8-month gap. Like, you know. So that to me, like, I could see Ocarina of Time remake being announced next year, like a year and a half from now, right? Like the next September 2025, I could see it getting announced. I'm not gonna say like there's no chance that they won't like show it off with the initial Switch 2 reveal, just so they can like be like, hey, we got something really
Maybe.
cool cooking.
But I feel
right?
like they'll
That looks
have
awesome.
other things to show that are
Yeah.
gonna release that year.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I don't think they.
next year, 2024.
I don't think they're gonna need Zelda to impress us, right? Like, I think they,
No.
you know,
Not right
use
away.
Mario Kart, a new Pokemon, Metroid Prime 4, right? New Kirby.
I think
like
they'll probably have either maybe re-releases or maybe some kind of upgrade path for people who already have the game. But like new versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will probably happen pretty close to
Actually,
launch.
the Breath of the Wild remaster, like that, you know, that could be like, hey, look, you can play Breath of the Wild 4K 60, woo, with ray tracing. Like
I imagine they'll do a patch as well for Tears of the Kingdom with the same sort of upgrades. Because
yeah,
why not? It's the same exact engine. If you made it work for Breath of the Wild, you can do the exact same thing for Tears of the Kingdom pretty easily.
yeah. All right. Oh, that's another really good question.
Chat's
Link
full of good questions tonight.
Yeah, Link exists. Asks,
the
what
heat.
you predict will be 2025's Zelda game? Maybe Breath of the Wild remastered. As much as I don't want it to happen. Although I also kind of feel like if they remastered Breath of the Wild in 2025, then does that kind of like diminish Ocarina of Time remake in 2026?
I think it will be a very. I don't even think that this will be like called Breath of the Wild remastered or anything like that.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be like this crazy.
I'm not even sure it'll be a
upgrade.
physical release. It might just
Yeah,
be a patch.
I think maybe they might release it physically again just so people can make it easier for people to buy Breath of the Wild, you know? But like for people who already own the game, I assume this will just be either a free or like $5 to $10 upgrade.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD again. I you know, like I just don't. I don't want to.
Do you kind of want to play Twilight Princess now after talking about it though?
Yeah.
Like been a while.
Yeah. I feel like a spin-off, you know, would be cool. I wonder what kind of spin-off they could do though.
I don't know. There's not that many Zelda spin-offs.
I think we need more.
They should do a multiplayer game. They haven't done one for Switch.
Maybe a Four Swords?
Swords
game?
Yeah, something like that. And they could release that on Switch 1 as well.
Yeah, Four Swords could be a
They
cool
haven't
thing
done
to do.
a multiplayer game since Triforce Heroes, which was like 8 years ago or something.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Four Swords game.
Yeah.
Like, and that would be, I think that's the way to do it. And it could actually be really interesting if they do like the, whole like Breath of the Wild Revolution thing, right? Like, say they're
Ah.
doing that because Wisdom, like you have some sort of mechanic, um, but it gives you a lot of free range. Like, but imagine they do that. It'd be even crazier. Like, I don't even need it to have like Echoes of Wisdom graphics. Give us like the Zelda 1 prototype visuals, but
Yeah.
Four Swords. Like, even that would be like a cool thing to do.
Honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I kind of wish that Echoes of Wisdom didn't use the same graphics as the Link's Awakening remake, because I thought
Mm.
it worked well enough for that remake, but it's not my favorite look, and I was hoping to see a new art style for 2D Zelda. Uh,
Wait till next gen.
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Although, if they do it for Four Swords, I don't think they would use the same art style.
Hopefully
Like, if,
not,
if
but
we got a Four Swords next year,
potentially.
I think they should do something else. Maybe even
They
just like,
might use the same art style just to speed up development, though,
well,
because they already have the assets made.
or maybe they do it more like
I mean, that's what they did for Triforce Heroes. It's like basically the same assets from Link Between Worlds.
I know, but then 3 games, like, doesn't that feel like a bit much? Especially if it's like only 1 year removed.
Yeah, I guess it does, but also
Maybe it doesn't
I
have to
don't
be a
know.
new art style though. Maybe it could be just kind of like kind of like what they did with F-Zero 99, where they just kind of upscaled the 16-bit visuals. Maybe just give
Hmm.
us upscaled 16-bit visuals for Four Swords.
I think that could be cool if they
Or the
do
Zelda
something
1 thing I
like
told you
2D
about.
HD kind of sort of thing, where it's like
Yeah.
it's 16-bit, but they have some cool effects. So like if they have like that tech demo style, like fire and stuff, they could have like some cool like bloom and like lighting effects coming off the fire, but it's still like pixels.
Yeah. Oh, here's an idea. Four Swords 99.
Would that work? That
Yes.
sounds like
Yes.
chaos.
But it would be great. What if
I
it's
don't.
like, yes, yes? That feels maybe even more believable to me. Or
I don't know. I do
uh,
think that I don't think that Triforce Heroes is gonna be the last multiplayer focused like solo release game. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if there's another Four Swords, Triforce Hero, whatever they want to call it, multiplayer Zelda game.
yeah. Or maybe they just have a new idea.
Well, yeah, that's why I keep just saying multiplayer Zelda. Just like anything multiplayer Zelda.
What would be fun?
I mean, honestly, they don't. I don't think they need to change too much. I think the concept that they haven't had that many of the games, and they could just add new types of puzzles and new mechanics that they haven't had since the last game.
It'd be
It'd be
crazy.
pretty easy to spice up the same kind of
Here's an
gameplay.
idea. Here's an idea. They do a first person. Um, Basically, remember in Nintendo Land how you could walk around slashing things?
Yeah.
They do that. Like, that's the game. Like, it's just kind of like a motion control slasher. Like,
Hmm.
first, like almost like a VR kind of thing. But I mean,
Hmm.
I don't even know if they'll do VR, but like something like that. Because we're not talking about like a big game. We're not talking about AAA effort, right? We're talking about like a smaller side entry.
I mean, I guess they could do that, but I wouldn't really like that nearly. It wouldn't really be a Zelda game. Like the Nintendo Land thing is like, yeah, it's Zelda, but it's not really anything like playing a Zelda
All right,
game.
well, all right. Okay. Hold on. You know about Portal?
Yeah.
Portal, not a long game.
No.
But it's a first-person kind of puzzle adventure. What if they make it more like that? Am I warming you up to the idea a little bit more?
I guess I just don't feel like they need to radically change the formula from what they
This is a
have
spin-off.
had
This is a
going.
side thing. It's a different thing. It's not meant to change anything. It's its own thing, separate, changing nothing, own thing. Mario Party doesn't change 3D Mario. Mario Kart doesn't change 2D Mario, right? Donkey Kong Jungle Beat doesn't change Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, but
It's
why
its
would
own
they come
thing.
up with a new concept for multiplayer Zelda when they already have
Well,
one
I
that
didn't even
works?
say it would necessarily be multiplayer, but that could make it even
Oh.
more interesting. I'm just
Oh,
talking about a
I've been
Zelda
talking about
spin-off.
multiplayer Zelda the whole time.
All I'm saying is a Zelda spin-off. Get us something Zelda
Uh,
that it wouldn't be made by a 2D or 3D Zelda team that isn't just another remake remaster.
I just don't think that they need to call it Zelda. I just make a new IP at that point. It's not gonna play like Zelda. I don't really care for it to be called Zelda.
No, but it would be Zelda. It would be like moving blocks, shooting arrows at like it would be like a 3D. Ooh, it would be a linear dungeon exploration in first person. Give it so for the fans.
I'd rather just have a multiplayer Zelda game. Like
You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. Nintendo knows best. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Boo Mini here with a super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, Boo Mini. Boo Mini asks, "Will you play live stream Echoes of Wisdom?" I will definitely play Echoes of Wisdom.
yeah.
I'll probably at least live stream Echoes of Wisdom once. As most of you know, I don't normally live stream games, but occasionally. So I'll probably live stream it when it comes out at least once. And we'll see where I go from there. Typically, I just enjoy playing games at my own time, own pace, without having to worry about anything else. But yeah, at least once I'll live stream it.
I am actually probably going to start live streaming again on my channel. Just games and stuff, like whenever I feel like. So I might live stream that game. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the first topic. We've already been live for 48 minutes, so probably a good time.
Probably.
Okay. So also I woke up at 6 today, so I'm trying to have a better sleep schedule of a healthy adult. We'll see how long that lasts.
I forgot to set my alarm, or I forgot that I had unset my alarm. I didn't wake up till very, very, very late. I was like, "What is this?"
I guess the point I'm making here is that I'm already running out of daytime. Like I have to be to sleep in like an hour and 15 minutes. So
Dang.
I'm probably already gonna fall behind the schedule tonight. But I don't. Let's just continue talking. I'll end the stream at a reasonable time. Anyway, so let's talk. I think we should. Should we start from biggest to smallest or smallest to biggest?
Smallest to biggest.
All right. Do we qualify as Emio as smallest, or is
Sure.
it Link Playable and Echoes of Wisdom smallest?
I mean,
we were just talking about Zelda.
Yeah, let's just keep talking about Zelda then.
All right, let's keep talking about Zelda then. All right, so basically, let's see if I can pull up the rating. Echoes of Wisdom ESRB rating came out, and its description has people talking. So this is what it says here. Let me share it for y'all to see, in case you think I'm lying. I'm not. You can see it, Brandon. Is it visible?
Yep.
Rating summary. This is for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, official ESRB, rated everyone 10 and up. This is an adventure game in which players assume the role of Zelda as she attempts to dispel rifts throughout Hyrule and rescue Link. From a 3/4 overhead perspective, players explore various environments while fighting stylized enemies, example, humans, creatures. As Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. Zelda can use a magic wand to summon creatures, example, wind-up knights, pig soldiers, slime, for battle. Some enemies can be defeated by being set on fire. Other creatures dissolve into mist when defeated. Battle sequences are somewhat frenetic, with several enemies attack fighting at once. So, a couple things that I noticed from this, right? Here, it basically is a couple theories of mine that I feel like have been confirmed with this rating summary, or at least further. I shouldn't say confirmed. further supported, right? Maybe confirmed. The first one that I'll just mention here, right? It talks about how Zelda is going to attempt to dispel rifts throughout Hyrule. And my theory has been that in Echoes of Wisdom, those big purple cracks we see appear throughout the map, those are the rifts. And we go in them, and we've seen some scenes where Zelda's inside these purple areas, seemingly solving smaller like dungeon puzzles. I think once you clear that area, it literally dispels the rift and it unlocks that part of the map that was covered. And so here in the rating, it says Zelda attempts to dispel rifts throughout Hyrule. It seems to strongly suggest that very theory, right? And so the expanding on the thought, it's basically like the rifts kind of assume the role of like shrines where there are these mini dungeon like challenges scattered throughout the map, and you go from one point to another. That's basically what I'm getting at here, and I think this rating summary strongly supports the idea. Disagree or agree, Brandon?
I agree.
Okay. I don't know if anything else you want to add to that, but there's the other part where it's kind of the big talking point that everyone's been getting at is overhead, various blah, blah, blah. As Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. So that's kind of the line that everyone's kind of taken to mean that Link has been confirmed to be playable in the game.
Right.
I think there is room for just the wording to be a little off. And if they're just referring to that opening scene where we see Link using a sword and his bow. But in the trailer, we just see Link, fight a few enemies with a sword, and he doesn't use the bow at all on any enemies. He uses it to save Zelda. One single arrow. Not plural arrows, just one single arrow. And here it does say players use, right? That's not watch a cutscene. Players use. So, I mean, this line here would have to be literally incorrect for Link to not be playable, I would say. But
I think from the trailer, it's clear that Link's playable for at least some section, because you see parts that look very clearly like gameplay. When he's fighting Ganon, no, I don't think that's just.
But because we don't see UI, right?
No, it's very clear the way he's moving is not something that would be in a cutscene. It's not the camera angles very gameplay. He's moving exactly how he would if you were controlling him in the game. You mind if I go back to that? Yeah, you can. But I've seen the clips, again, fresh after reading this and seeing the information before when it first came out.
Sure.
It's pretty. Can
you see the video?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, let's just go over it. Like, I agree.
There are parts that are clearly cutscenes, but I feel like there's parts that are clearly like the camera angle looks like it's gameplay, to me at least. But you were all right. I don't think they ever showed the UI.
Like that right there is, doesn't look like. It looks like a cutscene.
No, this is a cutscene. This is definitely a cutscene.
It's lagging like.
The video is not playing correctly for me.
Yeah, it's not playing correctly for me either. I don't know why, man.
It's loaded up.
It's just.
I feel like there's got to be an issue with your PC because the video is already loaded way beyond this part.
It only happens when I'm doing StreamYard at the same time. Anyways, you know what I should do instead? I should just screen share my video editor because that won't actually lag.
Facts.
Actually, do I even have to open up the editor? I could probably just open up the video file.
Yeah, probably easier.
There we go. All right, give me a second here, folks. Exit that. Don't need that up. All right. And hold on. Let me pick the right thing to present here. Share screen. Window. There we go. All right, you guys see this?
Yep, I see it.
Okay. Is this lagging?
No.
All right, so that part, obviously, I would say is
Yeah,
You know that
this is
that's
obviously a cutscene.
that's a cutscene, right? I mean, or that'd be some really up close gameplay.
This I think is potentially gameplay.
That's a cutscene.
This is an intro cutscene, clearly.
Cutscene.
I think this is gameplay.
I mean, it looks
There's
like gameplay.
clearly a battle arena set up where you can't leave. This is a clear gameplay angle. He's dodging a move, seemingly
But
fighting.
is it
this
not
mob.
playable that this is they just like you hit him there? Okay. Oh well, actually, what's interesting about that right there? Does this let me go? I don't think this lets me go back frame by frame because it's just a video player. Had I gone to my editor, it would have, but it's fine. You'll notice that for a moment he turns white when he gets struck, as if it's gameplay. Right there, you saw that.
Yeah.
But then it appears he transports and it's behind the shoulder like immediately. So, but there could be
may
some editing
be
tricks.
camera editing,
or maybe they just had
there's
dynamic.
no UI.
Maybe there's just some dynamic camera moments. It's hard to say for certain.
Maybe, but why have the weird battle arena?
Well, maybe just as a callback. Shoots the one arrow.
I mean, there's ways to interpret this as not gameplay, but I feel like the most logical conclusion is that part is gameplay. I mean, this part's
Even
probably
that
gameplay
part
too.
there feels like gameplay, right? Yeah, I mean, listen.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could play as Link for longer, like before getting to that point, right?
Sure.
Like there may be a small like intro area where you have to go through a little mini dungeon to get to the Ganon fight, and then you play Zelda for most of the rest of the game.
So a point I'd like to make, right, is that these first few seconds we see here, you know what it reminds me of? The intro to Tears of the Kingdom, right? Where it's kind of like, and what's interesting is that the very first trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, that first teaser, when it was just called The Sequel to Breath of the Wild, we looked at that cutscene for years, but like that area. I mean, yeah, there are some parts we never actually see because obviously there were changes to the game and stuff, but we do explore most of that. Like that was mostly a playable section, and that might just be another kind of like. There's a lot of things in Echoes of Wisdom that clearly are borrowing, philosophically from Breath and Tears, and maybe a playable intro is part of that. Like there will be just straight up cutscenes in the intro. But there will also be straight up gameplay as well. It may be a little bit a combination, and maybe that's how this is playing out. That said,
I think this might be more of like an opening like to Link to the Past, where you like play pretty much immediately.
Maybe. I mean, I've been theorizing that he'd be playable, right? So it's like I'm not trying to disagree with you, Brian. I'm just playing devil's advocate because we don't know for 100% certainty, but I feel like it is. The evidence is very compelling, right? Like, let's also remind ourselves, like, the engine that's in place to have a playable Link was already established with Link's Awakening Remake, and they're already using the same art style. So the work's already been done, right? It's not like this is going to be some sort of huge developmental effort to have this mode of gameplay in the game, right? So if it gives the game more variety, and more cool moments, like I think they should go for it. I also think that when you look at like the key art, right? Like we go to I think towards the end they'll show it. Yeah, right there. Like this is Evil Link. You see my mouse? Does it show my mouse? I don't know if it does.
Oh, you think that's Evil Link?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's Evil Link? I mean, he seems upset, but otherwise, it seems just like Link.
All right. Well, first off, he's covered in this purple outline, right, alongside Dark Ganon. Second, this sword is not the same sword. Notice how it's a square shaped hilt, and when we go to, you see this, it's not it's like rotated
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Also, he looks mean, man. He looks mean.
He does look upset.
I can't find a.
I didn't get that impression, but I can.
So I gotta.
It also kind of looks.
You needed to watch my trailer analysis, Brandon.
I didn't watch the trailer analysis. What have I done?
No, how dare you? Right.
To be fair, I didn't watch anybody's trailer analysis. I was just kind of like, I don't really watch trailer analysis anymore because I like to find.
Brandon, listen, it's okay. You don't have to defend yourself. It's fine. Um, just pulling your leg. But I did point that out in the trailer analysis. So, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, at
I
first because I thought it was just the purple flames were going around just Ganon, but I see he's got a purple outline too.
yeah. So my thinking is just kind of like we may fight like a dark Link or like a possessed
Yeah.
Link. And when Zelda defeats enemies, what happens? We can use them as echoes. Like I think Link could become an
Ah,
advanced echo late game, and maybe
right.
even like it's possible that maybe there are sections where we could play as Link. I think maybe just the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
or and then you can use them as an echo late game.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, um,
I don't see why he would be playable again after the intro, like fully.
yeah, soft playable as an echo, right? Because you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
you send them out, but you're controlling Princess Zelda technically. So that's kind of what I think, and I think Link and Zelda might even fight together to fight the real Link,
The
not
final
just like
boss.
not
Yeah.
just an echo of Link. Yeah, they'll fight the final boss. I can see that. That would be pretty cool. Um, that's kind of what I feel like we're on the same page here. So
Yeah.
you know, well, if we're wrong, you can get your pitchforks and torches. So anyway, let's move on to the next order of business here. And that is Emio. Emio,
Woo.
what did you do to me? I didn't want you to be a visual novel. I
uh,
didn't want it. I didn't want it. But you know what?
yeah.
It is what it is, and it might be the visual novel I finally play.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't at all shocked that it was a Famicom Detective Club game because there was
It does make sense.
rumors and
Yeah.
leaks that it was going to be a Famicom Detective Club game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But why would you market it this way? Like, build up all this hype
I feel like they
and
overhyped it.
be like, it sounded like it was going to be like a new IP, M rated. They were going to do something new.
I mean,
And
it's
then
a
they're like,
return of
Famicom
an
Detective
IP.
Club. I'm
I
like,
think
it's cool, but I feel like they hyped it up like it was going to be something that everybody would kind of enjoy when it's like this very, very niche thing that not very many
we also
people
have barely
would
any
enjoy.
gameplay. Like they gave us a trailer, but the trailer wasn't a trailer. It was a interview with Yoshio Sakamoto. And that actually almost sold me on the game though, because for those that don't know, Yoshio Sakamoto also works with Metroid. He writes the Metroid
Mm.
stories, right? Yoshio Sakamoto recently wrote Metroid Dread, and Metroid Dread. I mean, the title Dread, right? Like that. Does that not tell you enough, right? Like it's
Right, right.
the game is meant to fill you with a sense of dread, fear, and
Yeah.
the EMMI, like they are terrifying. They terrorize you. People don't want to be around them, right? Like they give you this sense of dread. And so Yoshio Sakamoto did that, right?
Right.
And now his next project here is Emio. And I just want to point out the interesting similarity between Emi and Emio. May just be a coincidence, but it feels like it's not, you know?
Yeah.
And so the fact that we have this Metroid guy writing this scary story for Famicom Detective Club is really cool. I have not played the series. I understand
Yeah.
Nintendo did remake or remaster. I guess they're technically remakes because we're talking about old games, right? But they kind of fumbled the advertisements for those games. Like
Mm.
I didn't really make much of them when the remakes came out, like in 2021. Did you?
I mean, it's just not the type of game. I mean, I probably enjoy it, but there's just too many other games that I want to play.
Yeah. Um,
Like I know they're
yeah.
good games. It's just, and this will probably be a really good game too.
I
It's
feel like
just
it
like
might be a better
now,
game. It might be better. Like it's rated M, which is other interesting. The other ones weren't rated M. Like they're taking this to another level. And I do kind of understand the marketing here. Like had this been in the direct, we wouldn't be talking about it today. It's been given more attention. The way they marketed it, but it does feel like we're not the only ones that kind of feel like they kind of baited us a little bit.
yeah. I mean, I don't understand what they thought the reaction was gonna be, because when you hype up a niche product to like a super super big audience without telling them it's a niche product. Like inevitably, you have to know that a lot of the audience is not going to be interested in the product.
Yeah.
So,
I think like
I understand wanting to get out a niche product to try to get it to more people, but it's like I don't think this is the kind of product that is gonna like grab a whole new audience. Like it's gonna stay niche. This genre is niche, and I don't
yeah.
think this game is going to bring this genre out of that niche.
I don't think it's like Metroid where, like, there are large audiences of people that will play shooters, right? Or alien games or adventure games, right? Like,
Yeah.
graphic novel is inherently niche. I don't know. Maybe this will become the least
And
niche
it's annoying
graphic
because
novel game ever.
I don't want to hate on graphic novel games because I don't have anything
No,
against them, and I probably would enjoy them if I had more time to play them. But I don't, and this isn't the one that's gonna get me into the series. I don't think. So,
I don't
it's just
know.
like Nintendo. You did this. You're making me do this.
I guess I played Doki Doki Literature Club or something.
I did play that, and it was
I never finished it
scarring,
though.
and
I
it
didn't
was
even finish
traumatic.
it. I only played it because I heard how crazy it was, right? Like it looks like this bright and cheery game, and then things go to shit after hours of investment.
There's another kind of game that
I
mean,
don't know. I didn't
you
finish
should
them,
not play
right?
that
So
game if you have like mental health issues or you're a bad time in your life.
probably
It was not a
shouldn't
good
play this.
time when I
Probably
played
shouldn't play
that.
Emio either. From what we've
Probably
heard of
not.
it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying I think I might get the game, but I'm definitely like on the fence about it. I think they're gonna need to. They gotta do something to impress me. I kind of figured it wouldn't be like a big deal game. Of course, I wanted it to be.
I think this is the kind of game that I would
Yeah.
enjoy watching a let's play of, or playing it with somebody like who is watching me. Maybe I'll stream the game. That might be fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's not like I hate. I said I'm not hating on graphic
is it even
novels.
gonna
I
be
actually think I
scary,
could
though?
enjoy them.
Is it even gonna be scary?
It's
though?
rated M. Maybe it is scary. Plus, it doesn't have to be terrifying. Like I'm not over here expecting to be jump scared, all the time. It just has to have a sense of like creepiness and like a well thought out like plot, and with good twists and stuff like that. I don't think it has to be the most terrifying thing I've ever played. In fact, I don't really want it to be. Not a very big fan of being constantly terrified.
Yeah, I guess the cool thing is, as AB James points out in the chat, at the end of the day, Advance Wars, NES Edition, Detective Family Club, Endless Ocean, and Mario and Luigi are all dormant IP. They've been revived over the last year. Like that is true, right? Like Nintendo's bringing back a lot of IP in different ways. And, I guess this is what Famicom Detective Club is. So I shouldn't be mad about I'm not mad about it. I guess the teaser got us thinking it was something else. That's pretty much it. But I mean, the teaser was super vague, right? And that's the thing. Like, we didn't know really what to make of the teaser. I think what people wanted was to see something like Silent Hill 2 or like Fatal Frame, like something that it's like in 3D that you're like exploring dark corridors and there's a crazy man with a mask chasing you. Like they wanted to see something like that, and that's not what this is. But it might still be cool. Finding out who Emio is, that mystery, right? It's more about it's a detective club. So that is fun.
On its own, without the marketing, I look at the game positively. Like I think that it could be good. And actually, the more I think about it, I think streaming the game sounds really, really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's check on the chat real quick, see what some of you guys think, and then we'll get into our final biggest topic of the night. Final and biggest topic of the night. Ronnie Fazio adds me, I personally don't think they overhyped it. They just put out a teaser and a few days later they reveal it. Whether you like it or hate their approach, it definitely got people talking. Yeah, for sure. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I don't think either of us are like mad at it. It's just like maybe it could have been better. Maybe it could have been handled better. Who knows?
The thing is, it's kind of like you can't argue with the results. You know, like it was fun. The trailer was fun to see, right? It was fun to talk about it. That was interesting. I don't regret like that conversation, you know?
Right.
And now when I see the initial announcement, I'm like, all right, what is it? And I'm like, oh, 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 all right, whatever. Like, I thought it was, I think I'm a little annoyed by the fact that when they revealed it, we saw like, what, 10 seconds of gameplay at most. And it was just Yoshio Sakamoto talking about it, which is cool. But it kind of also goes to show what it is. It's a graphic novel. Like, how much of it do you want to show?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's just still anime images and dialogue. That's the game. I guess I'm just not a fan of graphic novels. You know. But I'll sit on it.
There'll be some sort of cutscene like things that will happen. I think that happens in graphic novels. I don't think it's always just the art with the text.
I trust Yoshio Sakamoto. I think he probably makes something cool. That doesn't mean he's gonna make something cool that I'm gonna like, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I like reading books.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Once upon a time, I knew.
I still read.
Yeah. Once upon a time,
I knew English once.
Yeah, I used to read books. Lots of books. Yeah. Arnold asked me, before the Switch era is over, you should have a ranking of your favorite games on Switch. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but it's kind of like, when do I do that? Because, for example, I think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out after Switch 2 releases. If I do the ranking before Switch 2 comes, like right when Switch 2 comes out, I won't be able to include Metroid Prime 4, right? And so do I wait until a couple years in? There's a few different ways to go about it.
Yeah.
I've definitely it's been on my mind though. I'm gonna do it at some point. I just gotta sort out how I'm gonna do it. Maybe I do it by year for a while, and then eventually I kind of be like, all right, so what are the top games from each year? What do I rank these?
Right.
But let's now dive into the final topic.
Right.
And that topic is the Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo appears to be prepping for it. There's different things that have been happening. The one thing that everyone was kind of talking about last week while I was away were this Joy-Con stand thing. Did you see that, Brandon?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. At first, I didn't make that much of it myself, but then I saw the conversation about it, and I sat on it for a bit. I was like, maybe there's something to this idea. Well, let me show you. I
don't really understand, so maybe you can,
maybe
describe.
At first, I didn't understand it either. Actually, I kind of thought about it for a while. I was like, okay, I see it now. I don't think this alone is like oh my god, for sure. But there's other elements to this. So let me get to the post here. All right. So on July 18th, Nintendo announces that the Joy-Con charging stand two-way, a device dedicated to charging Joy-Con controllers, as well as the Nintendo Entertainment System controllers for Nintendo Switch, is releasing October 17th. You'll notice that this image here has like Mario Party Jamboree in the background. And I do think the main point here is that this is meant to come out and to kind of help push Mario Party.
Right.
I think that is the main thing. When is Mario Party? I know it comes out in October, but when in October, I don't remember.
I think it
might be the same day, October 17th. Right? Like they're coming out literally alongside of each other.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah. So this is for Mario Party. That's what this is for.
Right.
But is this somehow still a Switch 2 hint? The argument that's been made is that this provides a way to literally like slide in and sync your Joy Cons to the dock without
Mm.
doing it on the rails. And what we've heard
Ah,
from both Vandal and MobaPad, the MobaPad leak, is that the new Switch 2 is going to have magnetic attachments for the Joy Cons,
right,
which would imply there's no longer a rail system. And
right,
having something like this that plugs in via USB, you would be able to use this to sync up your old Switch 1 Joy-Cons to your Switch 2, because and even though there wouldn't be a
right.
typical rail. And so
I
that
mean,
makes some
that's
sense.
it does make some sense, but it's sliding your Joy-Con onto your Switch and plugging in the dock isn't the only way to sync the
I
Joy-Con.
agree. There's a sync button. You press the
Yeah.
sync button. But it's not easy. For a lot of people, it's easier just to slide it in.
I mean,
Um,
it is a little easier,
yeah.
but is it that much easier than when you have a separate peripheral you now have to buy and then plug in?
Yeah. I think so. My take is that the reason is for Mario Party, but I also think there's a solid chance that when Switch 2 comes out, there will probably be some sort of social media post that says, "Hey, you can connect your Switch 1
Right.
Joy-Cons by syncing them or with this Joy-Con stand that we released a few
Yeah.
months ago."
I
Like,
mean, I would be more shocked if this didn't allow you to do that, because why not? I don't think
yeah,
that's really a main reason why this device is happening. Maybe it is something that they like considered for when, but I don't think it's like if that wasn't a functionality, they wouldn't have released this.
yeah.
But
I mean, I
I mean,
agree. I don't think it's the main
yeah,
reason, but I do kind of feel like it can be a secondary reason.
yeah,
And so the argument I made is that maybe this is helping to sort of set up an environment where Switch 2 can kind of hit the ground running, where it gives more
mm,
options. It's another way that it kind of increases the compatibility between Switch 1 and Switch
right.
2. And you have all these Joy Cons you've probably been buying throughout the Switch 1 era. You can use them on your Switch 2, and that's kind of it.
It's
I
interesting that
think
they
it's a
come out.
light, a light, not like a huge hint. I think it's like a light hint. If that makes any sense.
Something I'm curious about. Did Nintendo, because I know third parties made them, but did Nintendo ever come out with an official Joy-Con, like the grip that can be charged, like has a battery in it? Because I know the initial one they released didn't, but I thought that they had one
I
from
think there
them that had a
was
battery,
one. I think there was.
which is essentially this, but like with the grip instead of a stand.
Right.
Which is when I saw this initially, I was like, wait, didn't they already do this? Oh wait, no, I think that was a grip.
Like there was a. I
But I
think there was. I
but
don't know.
maybe it was just third parties. But
No, there is one. I'm looking at. I think I'm pulling it up. All right. This is Nintendo Switch Joy-Con charging grip.
yeah,
Support the recharge Joy-Con. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll screen share this here. Well, actually, where's the Amazon page? I have too many tabs open. I can't find it anymore. There it is. Yeah, so you can see it now. I mean, this
yeah,
this looks like an official Joy-Con charging grip. So
yeah.
it exists.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, the USB-C plugs in right to the top part right there.
Yep. So if you have one of these, then you could also do the same thing. And they've been selling these, I'm pretty sure, since launch.
Yeah, I think they were an extra purchase you can make at launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is different, but similar.
Yep.
I do think it's a
Same
little weird.
functionality in a different form
Yeah.
factor.
Do you think it's weird they released something like this so late into the console's life?
Um, I don't think it's weird just because we know that there's a plan to support. I mean, basically, we know that they're going to support Switch after Switch 2 comes out. So to release a peripheral like this when there's games that are using the Joy-Con again very heavily, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the consideration with Switch 2, although that's much less important because, again, there's just the sync button. You don't really
Right.
need an extra peripheral.
Yeah. Um, yeah. But anyway, going beyond that, right? I brought up some points in my video today. One of which, like, just kind of thinking about different things that Nintendo may be doing right now. That could be them sort of subtly preparing for Switch 2.
Mm,
And one example I brought up was the basketball DLC for Switch Sports. And you might
oh,
be asking why, right? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, of course. But my thinking with it is that with the basketball update, it's keeping Switch Sports relevant, right? 2 years
right,
afterwards. And I think this could be important going into next year where we may be getting up some sort of follow-up on Switch 2. We know about the code name Anna, right? Switch Sports is Elsa.
right,
And so we've seen those leaks be pretty spot on. Like that leak, it told us essentially there'd be a new 2D Zelda this year, and the same thing for Super Mario Party, right? Those are the two big
right.
reveals for the direct outside of Prime 4 and Brothership. But um, they've been pretty spot on. And so I don't think that they're off. I would say that you know this basketball DLC update, I think, is Nintendo sort of setting things up for, hey, we got to follow up to Switch Sports. Remember this game, here it is. And what's interesting
Let's
about that
give
is
us
that
Switch Sports
the
Resort.
basketball update isn't made by a Switch Sports team. It's made by
Mm.
Aiding, a separate developer that works with Nintendo a lot.
Oh,
And that's curious, right? Like, why would they have the non-Switch Sports team make that? Maybe because they're making something else that's coming out
facts.
soon. So I think that's like another subtle hint. I don't know if you agree, but that's one of the points I've made. I mean, what do you make of that? I'm actually curious.
Um, I mean it could mean either way. I think with the code name Anna's is the big thing where it's like, oh, cool. Clearly, it seems they're working on a sequel. I think it makes sense to work on a sequel. It sold pretty well. And I think having a sequel that's more thought out, has more features, could do very, very well in the next system. So having like a resort style upgrade to Switch Sports, like we got with from Wii Sports, would probably sell really well. And it's always good to have. They always have like either a new IP or like some sort of party IP launch very close to the in that first year.
Yeah.
Usually at one or sometimes even a couple of those.
Yeah, but do
So
you
yeah.
think that the basketball update is in some way tied to that at all?
I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if it's intrinsically tied, but it could it definitely helps.
I
Um,
guess at the very
you know,
least, the one part
I
that I
think
feel
it's
good
probably
about is,
part of the equation, but not like the whole puzzle.
yeah, I think the part where the aiding is the team that worked on the DLC, not EPT Group
That's a big
4.
one.
That to me
That's
is
a
kind
big
of
one.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That and the code
Yeah.
name are the two big things for me more than the
Yeah.
basketball. But the basketball definitely that's a piece in the puzzle. Because I
Yeah.
think they were gonna support the game either way, right? And they promised basketball from launch.
Did
But
they? No, they
I
didn't.
did they not?
They promised golf.
Oh, golf was what they promised.
Basketball was a
Okay.
surprise out of nowhere thing that happened. It was announced
Okay.
this
Okay.
year. Sorry for hitting the mic. I don't know if you guys heard that. Um, yeah, but I feel like it's
I
a
do
little
think that
bit
they
of
would.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning on supporting the game, anyways. But they probably planned the sequel too. I mean, the whole thing's probably planned out from the beginning. Test the waters with a more basic form of Switch Sports, and then if that does well, then you go ham with the
Yeah.
not necessarily a resort, but a resort style upgrade to the game with a
Do you
sequel.
think we're getting any more updates to Switch Sports? I think we're done.
No, I think we're probably done because I don't think it would be
The
too long
maps
till
looks
the
filled
next game
out.
comes out. Well, then there you go.
Yeah. Unless they want to be like, oh, we got this whole Ferris wheel thing going. You can jump off the Ferris wheel and glide for a while. That'd be kind of neat. But
That would be cool.
just give us pilot wings or like what they did in Switch Sports for this next
Yeah.
one that we may see next year.
Correct.
Something else I discussed, and I think this part we've touched on this part before. It's just looking at the games lineup. To me, it's pretty clear that they're situating things this year to close strong, but also it's developers that aren't going to be making the big AAA games for next year's launch, right? They're spacing
Right.
things out. Something else that's interesting is Nintendo recently announced Pikmin 4 has been out for a year, and
Mm,
no DLC
great game.
announced. No DLC for Mario Wonder. No DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. We just got the June Direct. These three
Yeah.
major games from last year, all big Nintendo titles. No DLC. Um,
Mm,
and so it's like, okay, well, why isn't that? I think it's just because, well, these teams are already hard at work on the next big projects. Um,
thanks.
and that's pretty much it. Looking at the lineup for this year, it's it's very reminiscent of 2016. Like it, in 2016 we had a Mario and Luigi game, we had a Paper Mario game, we had a Mario Party game, we had a Zelda release. And actually, in 2016, we had more than that. We had Pokemon Sun and Moon. We had Star Fox
Thanks.
Zero. We had Fire Emblem Fates. We had
Mm,
Tokyo Mirage Session. So, like the lineup we have this year is fine. It's solid,
yeah, it's
but
pretty good.
it's also clear that none of these projects are like big budget AAA efforts. Those are
Yeah.
all those teams are clearly doing something else. The fact that there has been any Kirby game announced this year, I think that is maybe somewhat supportive of the idea that they are working on a bigger Kirby game for hopefully next year, perhaps for the Switch
Yeah.
2 era. So I do think we're seeing some subtle things that are like saying, hey, yeah, Nintendo is situating themselves for a big 2025 for Switch 2.
Something. Obviously, Sony's plans don't necessarily impact Nintendo's directly, but we are due for a PS5 Pro announcement, probably within the next 2 months,
Mm,
which is also kind of in line with when we think we might start, having the chance to see Switch 2 announcement as well.
yeah,
In that August and September area.
yeah.
I'm very curious. What is that? What's going on with that situation? Because we have two very big systems. Switch 2 is probably bigger, obviously a bigger deal because it's a new generation, but there's still two very big systems that people think are going to get announced within the next few months. And one of
Yeah,
them's releasing this year.
yeah. Um, I do you think PS5 Pro in any way, shape, or form impacts Nintendo's timing to reveal Switch 2?
Maybe a little bit because I don't think that they probably want to reveal them like at the same time because they want their own dedicated spotlight, right? They
But
don't want
like, what
people
are we
to be.
talking about here? Are we talking about the difference of a week or two, the difference of a month or two, the difference of a year?
No, not. I mean, not that long. I think it would max it. They would push it would be like a week or two
Okay.
if they learned that it was gonna be like in the same week. They'd be like, oh, let's shift that. Not be in the same week. Maybe they would not want to be the same month, but I don't think it matters too much. I think mainly they just don't want all the headlines to be, a split, between PS5 Pro and Switch 2. I think that's the main thing that they would care about, right? Because there's gonna be a lot of mainstream attention with the PS5 Pro, even if most of the people who buy it it's a kind of a more niche audience. It's still going to be, it's going to take over mainstream headlines. So they don't want that kind of competition with the announcement. I wouldn't think.
Yeah. Yeah. You might be onto something there. Let's get to the chat here. We'll wrap things up.
All right.
George FT with a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, George.
Yes.
George asked, "What do you think would have been a better way to market Emio, Famicom Detective Club, that would have garnered the same amount of attention that it just gained without being quote unquote deceptive?" And that's the tough part because I mean, like, I don't think you can. I just don't think you can. Like,
No.
I think the way they did it, it did garner the most attention because we didn't know quite what it was. I think the mystery behind it was part of the intrigue.
Yeah.
So had they told us a little bit more about it with the teaser, um, you know, then we would have been like, okay, this is what it is. I think really we just wish Famicom Detective Club was something else. That's kind of that cold hard truth, right? I think that's what it is for the masses. Now,
Mm,
again, I don't know if it's again, but just to be clear, I think it's going to be a good game for what it is. I'm just kind of,
right.
acknowledging that a graphic novel is kind of niche. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
curious how the in a I would like to see two universes, right? Be able to be like a fly on the wall in the multiverse of walls, right? And see the universe where they didn't do this, and then see our universe, and then see the sales results of the game in the end from both. I'm curious how much like does this help the game? Because I mean uh, are the people who you know saw it because they didn't know what it was and would never have been interested in it if they did know what it was, are they going to care anymore or no? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe, like, I might buy the game, and maybe I wouldn't have if I just saw it in the direct or something. I don't know. I'm just very curious about how much this marketing stunt actually will translate into sales, just because it is still such a niche
yeah. The
game.
other thing is that like they just barely showed any gameplay. Like,
Yeah, I do wish if you're not into graphic novels, then why would this trailer's not going to get you into the game.
I almost wonder if they didn't show that much of the gameplay because they didn't want people to really know and they wanted to still be intrigued by it with further updates, which that part
I
I
don't think
get
that
it,
really
but
works
it's
though,
almost like admitting that graphic
because people
novels
are
aren't
just
that
going to make
exciting.
up their own opinions on what it is. Like, if you don't give them an impression, they're going to make up their own first impression. That's just how people are. You don't just not get an impression of something when you view it. Like, you're gonna make something up in your head. Your brain has to have some sort of reckoning with what you saw. So, like, I don't know if that really works because people are they're gonna hear, oh, this is a known series. Like, this isn't a new IP where people are like, oh, we don't know what this is. They're like, this is a new game and an established IP, so we know basically what the kind of game it is going to be.
Yeah.
So, like, people will just be like, oh, it's going to be exactly like this. And they're like, I've never played this. I don't care about this. Therefore, I'm not going to keep up with this. Even if maybe if they had seen some gameplay or an actual like trailer that really showed off an interesting thing about the plot or something that might have intrigued them, or if they might keep watching updates. But now, anytime they see anything about this game, they'll probably just write it off and not even watch it.
Yeah. I mean, me just thinking about what the game is, from a marketing perspective, I feel like they've maximized. They
I feel
it's
like if that trailer had been better, then it would have been maximized. But I feel like the approach was good as far as getting it
you're
out to the most
talking about the
people.
reveal trailer with
Yes,
Yosho
yes, yes,
Sakamoto.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean
That I feel like
you
they
could have
they
shown
kind of
more
flubbed it.
gameplay, but I mean if the gameplay is what we think it is, what is there to show? Oh, here's a few more still images of a guy in a bag and some animes, high school kids or whatever. Like, I haven't played the series. I actually am curious now, so I may go back to them. Um, I don't know, maybe release Famicom Detective Club 1 and 2 for free. That might have
Hmm.
helped. It's like, hey, here are some free
Uh,
games. Not sure. Yeah, I mean, I think they did a pretty good job with the teaser. It is a little, I guess, what you call clickbaity, right? But also,
eh,
we didn't know what it was, right? So it's one of those things where they didn't lie to us. We didn't know what
yeah,
it was, you know.
yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't really feel any kind of way about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not like mad at
particularly.
Nintendo, you know. It's just kind of okay. We were hoping it was something else, but this is I'm paying more attention now to this than I would have otherwise. So I think
Yeah.
the marketing is ultimately good. I think, but I also am acknowledging that a lot of us were hoping it was something else, and that's pretty much it. But it may still be something cool. And I like that Yoshio Sakamoto is the guy behind this. That kind
Yeah.
of gets me wondering, oh, this might be like a really creepy story. And so I'm looking forward to that. And maybe maybe it comes out and it does really well, and people are all sitting there and think, man, Yoshio Sakamoto is a real genius.
Yeah,
I think
depending on how
maybe
the
more people should be
reviews,
doing that already. But
I might just
yeah,
have to, I might see those reviews, hear some great things about it, and I have to pick it up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So hopefully it does well. Or maybe it's like the best graphic novel ever. We'll see. So just the last few questions wrapping up, guys. So any final points you want to make, put them in the chat now. Arnold, actually, how big will a new Me game will be on Switch 2? I mean, if it's something like
New me game.
like Tamagotchi Life or something like that, like Tamagotchi Life has a lot of
Yeah.
potential. Getting it out early for Switch 2 might be a cool idea. You may want to wait a
Yeah,
couple of
probably
years
very
because it
early.
feels like you want to wait till like casual audience jumps in. Like you maybe want to wait till you have to get things like Animal Crossing and Mario Kart out there.
Mm,
But yeah, it would do well.
yeah, that's something that would do well now on Switch One.
Yeah, Tamagotchi Life
I think,
remaster or a new one would do well on
yeah,
Switch 1. Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
something early in Switch Two. I don't think the people on Switch Two will care nearly as much about it, just because the scope of the game is gonna be so far below what the Switch Two could do. Right? It's like people are gonna want to see what the Switch Two can do.
Yeah. Mark Rusho presents a very interesting scenario here. Star Fox should be the launch title. Something old and new.
Oh God.
Mario and Zelda need a little bit of a break. But like, hey, you
um.
listen, if Nintendo wants to go all out for Star Fox, right? Like it's like an incredibly like it looks visually, it looks amazing, right? It has, the campaign, but it also has like a really hectic online multiplayer at the same time. Like, dude,
I just feel
it's
like you
amazing.
have to have a lot of confidence to expect out of nowhere that Star Fox is going to come from the quality of what Star Fox has been for so long up to a good enough quality to where they see it as like it can be a launch title game. That would be awesome. I think Star Fox has that potential. Do I think they've realized it yet? Probably not, unless they have been working on something for a very long time that they've just been behind the scenes that hasn't come out at all, which is possible, but it just doesn't seem like the most likely scenario. However, it would be epic. It would
It
be
would,
really cool because
as
Star
a
Fox has
hardcore
so much
Nintendo fan,
potential.
it would be amazing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Star
like
Fox has the potential to be awesome, but just like Metroid Prime 4, which we've already seen and is looking awesome and could be a much better launch title and makes more sense.
yeah. The difference though is that Star Fox would be exclusive to Switch 2.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
there would
the
be a
big
difference.
difference. Taker 610 with a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Taker. Taker says, "Would you guys be disappointed if Switch 2 can do 1440p but not true 4K? 1440p at 120 hertz or 4K at 60 hertz?"
Let's
Uh,
not get ahead of ourselves here. There's hardly
I
any chance that any game on Switch 2 will run at 1440p at 120 hertz. That would be insane. That would be a hefty feat for a PS5 or an Xbox Series X to do. I'm telling you that right now. Unless
would
it's
not
like
be.
F099,
I would not be disappointed with 1440p at 120
No.
hertz.
In fact, I will say it is much more likely that almost any game that has a higher than 1080p resolution will target 1440p on Switch 2 and not 4K, just
I'm
because
now
it's
curious my
way
TV.
more expensive.
I have a 4K TV, but I don't know if it's 120 hertz.
That's probably not. It's very doubtful.
Like,
It would have to be. Did you pay $1,000 for it?
I don't remember.
Was it a really, really high-end TV when you bought it? Like top of the line?
No, I didn't spend thousands of dollars on it.
Then no. Almost certainly it does not do 4K 120. That is a very, very new standard for TVs. I mean,
Time
there are
to
cheaper options
upgrade.
now, but
I mean, I don't even expect
generally,
these games to be running at
the time,
120
yeah.
FPS. Like, I don't expect
No,
that. No.
no, I don't. Maybe there will be certain games that do 120 FPS, but it's very unlikely. Most likely, yeah, I would expect 1440p to be used in a lot of 30 FPS titles. and then like 60 FPS titles, I would expect probably more 1080p, except for lower end games. 4K, I don't expect them to use a lot of 4K. I think the final output that the Switch will provide will be 4K, right? Like it will put a 4K signal to your TV, but I assume that the games will probably run at like 720p to 1080p, get upscaled to 1440p by DLSS, and then they'll just use like a basic upscaler that doesn't really cost anything at all to bump it up to 4K and then output that to your TV.
Yeah. Upscaling. That's the way it's gonna be done.
Yep.
Like I mean, to tell you the truth, like playing games on my PS5, like I don't even feel like the resolution bump does that much. It helps. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but I feel like
the way that anti-aliasing is done on the PS5 and Xbox Series X is often not very good. So you end up with like a blurry image or still something with a lot of aliasing. Whereas like DLSS, even at a lower internal resolution, would look a lot nicer than a lot of games that weren't like FSR2.
You know what's a
like
game
really
that I
low
think is
resolutions.
going to really benefit on Switch 2 or a series? Xenoblade games or Molotov games. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the one thing that really holds back that game is just like image quality. Like it looks good, but
I mean,
it's
it
kind of
looks
like
good.
I want to get like up and close with things because I can't see it super clear. And I think
Right.
if the game had better texture quality and a higher resolution, like it would just help the game. And to be they made strides, with image quality and how it looks.
Oh yeah, I mean,
too, but man, that
they
game
use a very advanced techniques for Switch. They
Yeah.
have, I mean, basically they're using a non-machine learning form of something that's very similar to DLSS. Because DLSS in its most basic form is a TAA upscaler, which is what they're using for Xenoblade 3.
Yeah. So
it's just internal resolutions like 540p, and then they're only targeting 720p. I think it actually goes down even in dock mode to like 480p or 360p at the lowest, which is shocking because it looks really close to 720p.
Yeah. But I think we're ready to wrap it up for the night. Any final words, Brandon, you would like to bring up?
About the topics, not really. I'll shout out. I'm gonna start streaming, maybe sometime this week, maybe starting next week.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna do a little channel rebrand because I need a new profile pic, which I'll use here as well. Because I don't look like this, guys. I know you see me, but you don't see me. You see me like from like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, I might purchase a camera. I definitely will, but not immediately. But yeah, I plan on streaming soon. I'm gonna probably stream mostly Switch stuff, but some PC stuff as well. The first game I want to stream is actually another Crab's Treasure, which is like a little Souls-like game where you play as a crab. I mean, they showed it off in the Direct, but yeah, I'll be playing the PC version because I have Game Pass.
It's a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly just because I have Game Pass, so I have it for free. Basically, free. I pay $10 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Emio will be a good game to stream.
Yeah. But I'll be on my Discord as well more. So if anybody of you guys are in my Discord, yeah, I'll be using that again.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, we bid you all a wonderful evening, and we shall see you soon. Take care.
Bye, guys.